What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jason here at the Cowpot Bros. Come let you guys know that the date for the anniversary episode has been set, and it's going to be Thursday, April the 21st, episode 53. Mark your calendars down for that. It's going to be a good show, and the main thing is we want to hear from you. So make sure you continue to send us your messages via cowpotbros.com, the message button there, cowpotbros@gmail.com, 405-877-BROS, or just hit us up on social media and let us know what you thought about the first year of the Cowpot Bros, what you liked, didn't like, favorite moments, favorite segments, what have you. Make sure you get those to us by Thursday, April the 14th, the week before. So make sure we have it in time to get it in for the show, okay? And no matter what, make sure you remember this. When it comes to all things Cowpot Bros, make sure you like us, love us, share us, and follow us. Because if you like us, why wouldn't you?
Segment related to college athletes finally starting against the paper. And the second segment, we're going to be covering Kanye West, or whether Kanye West's behavior, because those are two different damn things. I swear. You know how people say, love the sinner but not the sin? I feel like that's the same thing people try to say about Kanye West when it comes to the music or maybe the fashion. But when it comes to these manic rants on social media, these reports, basically how he's just acting out towards Kim Kardashian now that they've broken up. And really, this has been an issue long before any sort of public representation related to Kanye West and Kim Kardashian being on the outs. So it was well in advance of that anyway. So I'm referencing an article from people.com. Kanye West was banned from performing at the Grammys. So the Grammys are scheduled to be recorded on April 3rd, this upcoming month. And according to Abigail Adams, Kanye West was basically, I don't want to say blackballed, because that's not what happened. What happened was Kanye West basically got into it with Trevor Noah over a bit that Trevor Noah mentioned related to Kanye West saying something about Kim Kardashian. So at some point, Kanye West gets locked out of his Instagram account. Jason, you may know what that feels like.
Again, I was never locked out or kicked out. I was only warned, okay? Get it right.
Whatever you say, Akon. So basically, he is banned for 24 hours for hate speech, harassment, and bullying after he allegedly wrote a racial slur on Noah's Instagram page. And the comment was made after the Daily Show host weighed in on Kanye West's split from Kim Kardashian. And so, in an extended clip from Tuesday's episode, Noah said the story of one more people should pay attention to, before adding that over time, Kanye has become more and more belligerent in how he tries to get Kim back. And he continues, I do understand that art can be therapy. I honestly do understand that, but I also understand that therapy can be therapy, Noah continued, insinuating the West should seek help. Now, Kanye West's comment on Trevor Noah's page is the latest in a string of posts shared by the musician in the last few months. It's already been a big to-do about Kanye West basically going at Pete Davidson, who Kim Kardashian is now dating. So that's where a lot of this really stems from. So, Jason, what are some of your initial thoughts? I know you're not the biggest Kanye West fan, which makes you the perfect person to actually weigh in on this, because you are arguably more objective than the average Kanye West fan.
Terrence, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a huge fan of Kanye and Kim. They're my favorite celebrity couple. I'm heartbroken that they broke up. I don't know why you're telling lies on me like that, man. Don't be telling people that. Yeah, no, definitely not. But so a little surprised actually that the Grammys actually took a stance on this. because, well, one, I guess I can't take this away technically, but he was nominated for 5 different awards in this upcoming, event. So I don't know if he's not allowed to be there or if he just can't perform. Are they keeping him out of the building, or he just don't want him on stage?
I think what it was is it's funny you brought that up because basically what the article stated is that he's not going to perform. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to be there.
Well, I'll tell you what though, I have to imagine he's probably potentially going to win one of those 5 awards. So I'll be very interested to see. I'm not a Kanye guy, but I'll be very interested to see what he does and says if he wins an award and goes on stage after being banned from performing. You know, we obviously know he's not afraid to get on stage, even though he's not supposed to be on stage. Taylor Swift knows that.
I don't know why I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at what he did with Taylor Swift. I'm laughing at the fact that, oh yeah, that's right. This motherfucker don't need a script.
Script. I don't need that. Give me the stage. Give me the mic. I'm good. But again, just kind of surprised the Grammys took this kind of a stance, because not long ago, I say back in November when the nominations were announced, they took a little bit of heat for nominating Marilyn Manson and Louis C.K., particularly based off of certain allegations that were made against those two, I believe sexual assault allegations. And basically, what I believe the president, Grammy's chief president, said, we won't look at people's history. Word for word, what he said. And that's Harvey Mason Jr., by the way. So it's like, okay, well, how far in history are we talking about? Are we talking about stuff that happened maybe years ago where he'll forget about? Or things that happened recently? That's the line where it says, okay, you did this 2 days ago or a week ago, we're going to ban you from this. Now, I know there's a difference when it comes to, like I said earlier, nominations and people who they have on stage. But I just find that kind of interesting. It's like, okay, well, why are you okay with this but not that? I mean, not saying that Grammy shouldn't have banned him, but just kind of weird that they kind of took that different stances right there, those different measurements. Again, may not be apples to apples. It may be apples to aircraft carriers, like you like saying a lot. You haven't said that in a while, though. But I found that interesting. Not that I'm a fan of Marilyn Manson or Louis C.K. Actually, I despise Louis C.K. But still, where's that line there? What's the difference there, Grammys?
The line is Louis C.K. can't rap. I want justice.
Well, he may not be able to rap. Yes, folks, that's a reference to the Dave Chappelle show, as always. Gotta go back to the Dave Chappelle show. But Louis C.K. may not be able to rap, but he definitely uses the N-word just as much. So, but anyway,
is that why you have a problem with Louis C.K., or is the sexual assault allegations that did it for you?
Well, I didn't even know about the assault allegations until I saw this article from November. So I didn't even know about that.
Word.
Again, whenever I see Louis C.K., I turn the channel, dismiss it. I don't want to go off the tangent because it's not about him, but I'll just bring up that line. It's like, okay, Grammy's taking a stance on this. But I do want to point out, because I know you kind of hinted about it, but what Kanye actually said to Trevor Noah, basically, I think everybody knows the song Kumbaya, right? Kumbaya, my Lord. I can keep going, but I know I don't want people to stop listening. So, but basically, the song title is spelled Cumbaya, Kumbaya. But basically, what Kanye read out was the words of the song, but instead of spelling out Kumbaya, Cumbaya, he spelled the first part Konn, as in coon. So, and you guys look it up. So basically, he kept saying that repeatedly, Kumbaya. So, and that's what, and again, they did say it wasn't just based off of that one instance. It was also other stuff too. They mentioned the part about the music video with him burying a claymation version of Pete Davidson, which I never saw that, but I get it. So it didn't say it was just that one incident, but I kind of feel like that was really probably the straw that broke the camel's back, we'll say. And I think probably if it was just a video, they probably would have been fine with it based off of other videos for performers who've gotten nominated for Grammys. Won't name names on that, but you can use your imaginations. So I've just found it kind of odd that they took this stance now. Again, not saying they should or shouldn't have, but it's interesting.
You know what? It's only a matter of time before this goes full celebrity deathmatch, and I feel like because you're mentioning claymation, now's the time to do it.
Well, I think that show's had a few runs. I think they realized that it's done. So
No,
good
no,
thought though. Good
no, no,
thought
no,
though. They have
no,
those
no,
two guys, but
no, no, no. Celebrity deathmatch ain't over. It just went to TikTok.
facts. Yeah, this is true. War of the social media words. Keyboard warriors.
It's
Full of
wild,
them.
man. And I am definitely one of those people that can appreciate Kanye West as a musical talent. I can always say, listen, I may not agree with this person's behavior outside of what he does musically. And one, these people are fucking celebrities. We don't know them. All we know is what people tell us.
Okay,
Or
so let
what
me ask you this though. I have a
yeah.
question for you.
Yeah.
We talked about this before, and this is maybe a good point to bring up when it comes to Kanye, because I agree with you. Even though I'm not a fan of Kanye West's music, I recognize obviously he's considered to be a talented individual. I'll say that, despite the other part of him that people don't like, and you even claim that there's a separation there. But how do you separate that, Terrence? Because yes, he's great musically, but if he, again, like you said, what's put out there in the media, if he's a piece of crap in every other way, it's like supporting. It's like, okay, if I listen to music, do I support him? Is there a line? Do people still rock R. Kelly music based on everything going on with him, Chris Brown, things like that? So you can lump all of them in the same bunch when it comes to them not having the best away from music perceptions versus talented musical artists. And we don't have to just limit it to musicians. It can be actors, could be athletes for sure. We know that. So how do you can frame it as how do you personally draw the line, or would you think that separation is made where I can still support them in this venture, even though they're probably on the piece of crap side of everything else?
I mean, this shit isn't binary for me. Uh I do find some of Kanye's behavior troubling. And honestly, I'm more worried about the guy than I am wanting to effectively, oh, well, I won't listen to this person anymore because they did something I didn't like. Um,
Well,
and I'll even continue. I'm like, listen, I probably listened to a shit ton of R. Kelly the last 20 years. The amount that I've listened to it in the last five, the dramatic, let's just say a dramatic decrease. um,
now is it the same effect for Kanye? Which I know obviously mentioned. Obviously, Kanye. This isn't just recent thing. It's been a ongoing transition to get to the current Kanye. You know what I mean? So are you kind of the same way Kanye? Because I know you're a big Kanye fan. Did you get Donda, or did you listen to it? Are you going to listen to future stuff, or what?
I listen. I think one we have to look at when people. I always think it's funny when people say, "Oh, well, I didn't like this person's music anyway," or "This person's music isn't good anymore," as if there's like a correlation to when they started doing things that we didn't like. I'm like, this person's been probably doing the same things. Um, actually, I did. I'm gonna backtrack on that. They may not have been doing the same things. There may have been signs that this person was doing or had the capacity to do some of these things. Like I fully believe that Kanye West is like a manic depressive because the back and forth mood swings. That's the only thing that to me that I again I'm not a licensed professional. Hell, I recommend go seeing one if you can. And that seems like the overarching um, response is that they see someone struggling and that they hope that they do get some professional help.
Well, that's what Trevor Noah. That's one thing Trevor Noah suggested in all the comedic delivery. He did suggest that, but obviously Kanye responded with however he responded, which I think he probably could have done that a little differently. I, I'm not gonna blame him for coming back at Trevor Noah. I mean, if I was in his position, I might have done the same thing. But I think calling him a coon is probably a little over the top.
I mean, if you're gonna get up there in that fucking Uncle Ruckus fit, who sitting next to Donald Trump, I would be if I were Trevor Noah, I would say, first off, I ain't no damn coon.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a pretty. I'll go and say a pretty ignorant response from Kanye. Um, that just because he's calling you out on your stuff, and you obviously don't agree with him, that's the first shot you go to is calling him a coon. That's that's basically the equivalent of somebody getting into an argument with somebody else of a different race, and the first thing they go to insult you is calling you a racial slur because they have nothing else. So it's basically the same thing. So instead of just acknowledging what he said and disagreeing with him professionally, respectfully as a human being, let's go ahead and make up some stuff and call him a coon and put it into the lyrics of Kumbaya. Really, bro?
That part would have been funnier had had he never wore the Trump hat. I'm just saying.
No, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you, and I shouldn't say I agree with you. But I definitely understand what you mean by that. Because I don't want to say just because he followed Trump that makes him, what he called Trevor Noah. But perception wise, because a lot of people think that
I'm like, listen,
is hypocritical. Yeah.
you can say a lot of shit, but if you're basically going to allow yourself to be used as a political pawn, as the 45th president of the United States, to be his token minority, when he's literally going to dispose of you like the recyclables in a month, then to me you deserve all of the sarcastic fury that comes with it because you played yourself.
Terrence, how dare you? How dare you try to say that Donald Trump wasn't genuine in his love for the coloreds? Don't how dare you? He loves Kanye. He supports him. Hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you ask him if he streamed Donda? Be asking me that shit.
He probably did not, but maybe Melania did. So who knows?
You know that I would fucking die if SNL did some sort of skit on Melania Trump bumping Donda. That would be great. They truly, all of these really self-important people, they kind of sort of deserve each other. And ironically, as much as some people are kind of turned off when Kim Kardashian or frankly anybody from the Kardashian clan even so much as fucking think or exist, um, the way this plays out, it makes her a sympathetic figure, and rightfully so, because your your ex-husband should not be fucking doing this, dog.
Well, I will say this. I do agree with you. It does definitely put Kim in a more sympathetic, you know, perception and light in the public media, which obviously she could use that based off our conversation last week. Um, but as the Kim Kardashian antagonist, as I have to be, I do have to point out that this was her third failed marriage. So I just do want to point that out. Pete
Cool story.
Davidson, be aware.
Wow.
But somehow she still gets dudes, dude. I don't. Well, no, I do get it very much. But
I was about to say, I'm like, I hope you get it
yeah,
because if you don't, we need to be looking at a new co-host. I'm like, you of all people need to be getting it.
but I do have a question about Pete Davidson. We obviously know Kim Kardashian's affinity towards a certain type of man, and for a long time, Pete Davidson's racial ambiguity has been kind of talked about and kind of been joked about. So now that he's dating Kim Kardashian, does this officially make him a black man?
No comment. I like Pete Davidson.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. He's hilarious. Yeah.
Number one, funny. Number two, has dealt with substance abuse in his life. He's very vocal about like, hey man, I was going through some shit. I'm working on it like everybody else. Like, I remember the SNL skit where Pete Davidson said, hey man, drugs are good. You know what? If they're recommending you should take them, take them.
Take him. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, there obviously the bit is hilarious, but also there's a lot of truth in this because he's basically saying, yo, man, you're acting like a person that is not on your meds.
And I think that's even funnier too. That because a lot of that skit was directed. Well, I shouldn't say that skit in particular, but he's made some comments on the show directed towards Kanye about mental health, taking medication, things like that. This is way before he even got involved with Kim Kardashian. So yeah, but I do remember that skit, and it definitely was real. I agree with you. Like Pete Davidson, he seemed like a real individual. Definitely hilarious. I love his skits in the courtroom when. But yeah, it's hilarious there. But yeah, it makes you wonder. I mentioned the line for the Grammys when it comes to who they choose to ban in any kind of way or whatever. But then I also kind of wonder where is the, for lack of a better word, the line gonna be for Kanye when it comes to okay, maybe I need to do something about the direction of my life. You know, when it comes to managing certain things. I know they say that he probably should take meds, but he's not as creative when he's on the meds, which is why he doesn't take them when he's trying to write. Blah blah blah. But at the same time, then what's really more important? You making music or your mental capacities? We
Yeah,
obviously know the answer to that right now, but I guess when's that going to change for him?
yeah, I don't believe it's a either or. Respectfully, um, I think that might be. I think that might be what he's kind of convinced himself of.
Mm,
Sometimes people will say, "Oh, well, doing the thing that actually is going to help make me resolve the issues in my life." They'll look for rationale to not do them.
right.
And so that's why I just don't buy the whole, oh well, I'm not able to be who I really am if I'm on medication. I'm like, you kind of need it if it's going to prevent you from going crazy at people on social media every fourth, sixth, 12th month. And we're not lampooning mental health here. Hell, I, my black ass sees a therapist. I encourage people to get their mentals right. Um, the whole premise is if you're going to not see someone, a licensed professional, or you're not going to take prescribed medication that can improve just the way you kind of manage the world, then at a certain point you're kind of messing up your own situation. And I think that's ultimately why the Grammys did what they did. Because listen, Kanye West is a great musical talent. Nobody needs to be dealing with this bullshit when Trevor Noah hosts, okay? Like, they just
Yeah,
don't.
that's another aspect, folks. He's actually hosting the Grammys this year too. So, but I will say, Trevor Noah, in recent articles I saw today or last couple of days, he's actually supporting Kanye when it comes to thinking he should still perform. So, throwing that out there, just another little wrinkle in that story. Um, one last thing I do want to say as I'm sitting here talking to you, just reminded of, remember the show Punked that was hosted by Ashton Kutcher?
I do.
Kanye was actually one of the celebrities on one of the first couple episodes of that show. And it wasn't doing anything, well, when it comes to celebrity reactions, now obviously everybody's different and each prank Kutcher did was different. But it seemed like even the way he reacted to that was way over the top. And I definitely recommend anybody watching that if you don't remember it. Just look it up. You can find it. But it just makes me think back to that episode. It's like, huh, okay. A little bit of correlation between what happened then, way back when, and now.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
I don't care if it's, Ashton Kutcher is punked over at South Park and the fucking fish sticks. We could literally have an entire fucking show based off of ways in which Kanye West has overreacted to shit. But yeah, I feel like Kanye West really needs a friend, an advocate that makes him understand that whatever he is trying to make happen, this is probably the worst way to go about it. And with that said, that concludes our second segment.
Kumbaya.
What the fuck you call me? Anyways, coming up next, we're going to be covering the amount of aid that was given to Ukraine in relation to the Russian conflict. Coming up next on Cal Park Roads.